Hey everybody, welcome to Oregon. I'm Tim with BleepinJeep. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I installed Bushwacker Flat Style Flares on my XJ. Let's get to it. So one of the first things that we're going to do is make a mark from this edge 3 3¾ inches over. We're just going to put a little indication right here, and that's going to be an alignment line for the fender flare. Now that that line's drawn, we're going to start putting the pieces on. And like I said, I'm just following the instructions. So this is part P1, passenger 1. It has 2 holes in it, right there and there. It goes right there and there. And then the hardware they include with this kit for the inner pieces here, they're actually stainless steel, which is really nice because you're not going to have to worry about it rusting underneath here. Now something I would recommend is using anti-seize on the stainless steel hardware. I used to build water tenders for a fabrication shop that I worked at, and we used a lot of 1/4-20 stainless steel fasteners, and if every once in a while when we didn't use anti-seize, they would gall and bind up. It doesn't matter how strong you are, what kind of tools you got, you are never going to break that thing free. It'll just completely seize up when you're installing even brand new hardware. So I would definitely recommend anti-seize for this project. I don't have any. I'm probably gonna have to pick some up here. So this is that 3 3/4 inch mark right here, that silver mark. And you can see what we're gonna do here is just push this in tight and lift this thing up right to the mark like that. And then we're gonna put in this other bolt right back here, and it should kind of hold everything. We're just going to hand tighten this nice and snug. And then there's another hole right here. We're going to mark that. That'll be our new drill hole where this will mount. And you can see this is what we're going to be cutting off, everything underneath here. So that's taken off quite a bit. Well, here I can tell you, it's going to be taken off, put this to the mark, about 3 inches. About 3 inches of sheet metal is going to be coming out just on the front side alone, and probably a similar amount on the back. So that's really going to give us a lot more room for tires here. So the instructions, they say just to hand tighten these. For now, I'm going to go ahead and just use a small wrench and a screwdriver and make sure this is pretty snug, just because I really don't like it when things move during the installation process. So I got these two tightened up, and I've already lost my silver Sharpie, but red might work all right. You can see the line I made here. I'm just going to bring this up till we're right at that 3 3/4 mark. And then with this Sharpie, just going to mark that little hole in there. And then when we take this off, we'll be able to drill that out, and that's where it'll permanently mount out there. Now we're just going to repeat this same process on the back side of the wheel well opening with P2, the second piece. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. I probably shouldn't have put this piece on yet, but we need to mark a couple more little points right here. We're going to do 6 1/8 from right here along the top style line, they call it in the instructions. 6 1/8, and then on the bottom line 4 1/2. There's one. Okay, and it looks like this is going to go to those lines, something like that. And you can see how much material this is going to enable us to take off. 3 inches. So we're increasing the opening of this wheel well by 6 inches overall, 3 on each side. And when we turn and articulate and flex, it's going to make for a lot more room. for tires. Hope that's right. I've gone ahead and pulled those inner pieces off. Now I can barely see my little marks here. That's where we'll be drilling. I'm starting with a small pilot bit. Oh yeah, much better. Where's my other hole? This. Alright, I'm going to switch to the 1/4 inch bit. With that hole drill, I was able to mount this right back up. It's nice and secure. You can see that line is right on target where it's supposed to be. So as I'm installing these inner pieces, I'm just keeping the bolts loose. I am putting a nut on there, but keeping all of them loose. Here's that hole we just drilled. And that way I can kind of manipulate things around by keeping the bolts loose until it's exactly where it needs to be. And then we'll go ahead and tighten everything down. But these are still going to be coming off again, so... Oh, there goes my screwdriver. There goes a nut. These will still be coming off again to trim out all that extra sheet metal. Aha! Found it. Alright, let's go ahead and trace this out while we're going to be cutting. So I've gone ahead and removed those inner pieces now that I have my Sharpie line made. And you can only trace to about here on the back side. And once I took that off, I just took a ruler and extended the line. And in the instructions it says to cut that leading bolt off. This guy right here says you can see that cut line. It's going to continue underneath something like that and eliminate that front fender bolt. And then kind of the same story up here on the front. You could only trace to right there, and then once I had the plastic out of the way, I just put a ruler up here and made that line a little straighter. And we're going to be trying something a little different. I've always used abrasive cutoff wheels, and I went to the store to buy a fresh one, and this thing caught my eye. It's Diablo metal cutoff wheel, and they advertise that it will last 100 times longer than an abrasive cutoff wheel like I typically use. And I paid $15 for it. An abrasive cutoff wheel the same size, 4.5 inch, is about $3. So if this thing actually works and it lasts even 25 times longer, heck, even 5 times longer than an abrasive cutoff wheel, then it's definitely worth it. And they say 100, so we'll see. It has some kind of fancy diamond encrusted edge, and let's see how it works. So that thing is on the floor, out of the way, and now I'm going to switch over to a flat disc and just hit some of these razor sharp little sections I have left. So I have that edge cleaned up pretty good. Inside, as you can see, there isn't too much extra hanging off in there. And now something I did different from the instructions, which I have right over here, is they wanted us to go through and make a bunch of these little, I don't know, slits in it, and then take a hammer right there. No, somewhere, I don't know where the hammer's at, but anyway, right here, and bend all those in to the into the fender opening towards. You can see that big hole there. Let me show you over here what I did instead. I just, as you saw, I just traced that line. There's that same big hole, and I just cut all that nonsense off. I didn't want to deal with making those little stripe things and bending them all over. To me, having all those little slits in there is it's just more difficult to get paint into each one of your cuts, and therefore it's more likely to rust. So I decided just to cut all that off clean. Am I going to run into a problem because I didn't follow the instructions? Well, we are here to find out, but that's what I ended up doing. I think it looks okay. And well, we'll start putting it back on. I'm going to paint all the freshly cut sheet metal anywhere it's silver. I'm going to hit it with a little paint and just keep that from rusting, or at least try to discourage rust from starting. So the next thing to do is to install some of these speed clips right here on the pre-drilled holes in the inner pieces. So let's get this thing opened up. It's one of those clips, and these are for bolting to the fenders. So this must go just like that, I guess. Voila! Everything is tool tightened now. You can really see how that trim line mates up to the inner piece. And if I back up here, you can really see it well. Definitely looks like it's working okay so far. And that's what it looked like when we extended that line straight right off the front. And you can see that inner piece is right to the mark, maybe a 1/16 of an inch shy. And that's basically it for the inner piece. Paint is still wet, didn't let it dry, typical. And now we're ready to proceed. So one of the next steps is to install this edge trim on the actual flare itself, and it's going to go on the flare where it meets up with the body of the Jeep. So the flare will mount over this inner bracket, sit tight against the sheet metal, and then that edge trim will just kind of eliminate any potential gaps. Eventually, I would like to get these fenders painted, so I am probably going to install the front fenders without the edge trim, and we'll just see how that goes. But that's kind of my plan for now, because I don't want to stick it on there and leave a sticky residue and then not be able to peel it off and reuse that if I end up getting these painted here in the next few months. So we'll see how it goes without the edge trim, and by doing that, I'm sure it'll allow some more debris and water to get down in there. But you know, with painting the sheet metal and the stainless hardware, I don't think it's going to cause any issue. So that is my plan. The back, I will put the edge trim on, that'll be fine. But on the front here, I'm just going to give it a shot without it. Let's see how it goes. So let's get an idea here of what this is going to look like. This should just slide right over that inner bracket that we installed. I don't know if that was a good sound or not, but anyway, something like that. Of course, there's a gap right there. Just putting it up there to just kind of look at it. Oh yeah, it's going to look good. Real good. This is pretty slick. I haven't even gotten the screws in yet. It's still just loose on there. But I want to show you guys that right here, this portion overlaps the sheet metal by probably quite a bit, maybe 1/4 inch, where you cut. So you can do some pretty spotty trimming, and this will cover it up so it's nice and smooth, and you won't cut yourself or anything like that. But that really cleans it up nicely in here. And then I guess if you have your splash guard or inner fender, you can actually put that back on. You're gonna have to trim it a little bit. And I still have mine, but they're down at my friend's shop in Sacramento, so I'm gonna have to get those in here. But so far I'm really liking the way it looks at first glance. So, all right, let me quit looking at it and finish installing. The next step is to get everything sucked up close and tight to the sheet metal by pushing on it. You want to make sure that this lip is all the way down and around, and then these pre-drilled holes in the outer flare, they correspond to the speed clips on the inner flare, and they supply these screws. So we're going to just go ahead and make sure everything's lined up and get all 6 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, loosely started. Push this really tight against the sheet metal, try to close all the gaps best we can, and then cinch up all those screws. So I'm just pushing in as hard as I can to try to get these to line up, and it's really sealing quite tight up here. So, and this is without the weather stripping. Obviously, if I had that edge trim on there, that would be even better. But nonetheless, it looks pretty good. So I'm going with it. Wha-bam! And there it is. Is that a good looking fender flare or what? Well, I'm not going to bore you guys with installing the other 3. The rear is going to be very similar to how we did this one. And if you've had any qualms about these products, about a Bushwacker product and installing flares on your Jeep, don't worry about it. Look at these instructions. This thing, 108 steps. It's like a Chilton or a Haynes repair manual. I've dealt with a lot of aftermarket products, and very rarely do they have instructions this thorough and this good. If you follow all 108 steps with pictures to a T, nothing's going to go wrong. And I eliminated about 90 of these steps, and it still came out just fine. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you're interested in picking up a set of these flat style Bushwacker flares for your Jeep, check the video description below for a link. We'll see you in the next video.